Okie dokie, so thank you to everybody who's completed the work so far. I do hope you're all well. Right, so I've been impressed with the interpretations I've seen so far of this poem. This is a fairly standard interpretation. Some of the ideas are quite complex though, so you might need to listen to it a couple of times. Right, so we got my pretty rose tree. A flower was offered to me, such a flower as May never bore. But I said, I've a pretty rose tree, and I plast the sweet flower o'er. Then I went to my pretty rose tree to tend to her by day and by night, but my rose turned away with jealousy, and her thorns were my only delight. So let's look at the symbols first. The unnamed flower that blooms in May may be representative of spring, because May is representative of spring, a new life, therefore fertility. It's also a symbol of virginity. We can contrast this with the rose tree, a symbol of love also, but the thorns give it an edge. It's not the opposite of the flower, but there is an element of danger here. Now the poem itself is said to echo a relationship of a married couple where the man encounters a pure virginal woman but turns her down for his wife. However, his possessive wife shuns him further. Note that the flower is unnamed. In this sense, the love that it offers is pure. If you name something, you immediately give it identity. Therefore, you're removing its freedom and therefore its purity. And in a sense, if the flower represents virginity and it's being offered to the man, it wants its purity removed, suggesting that love cannot remain pure. That's a really difficult concept to understand. Listen to it a couple of times. What we actually have here are contradictions, and what Blake is forcing us to do is to confront the fact that there are many different elements to love. We can even draw comparisons to the fact that virginity is offered, therefore offering temptation to the man, which echoes of the serpent tempting Eve in the story of Adam and Eve in Genesis in the Bible. Therefore, if the man succumbs to the temptation, then he is a fallen man in the same way that Adam and Eve were seen as fallen. However, he does not turn down the love. He is a virtuous man. He dotes on her because he tends to her by day and night, yet his wife turns away in jealousy. So what we have to consider is the nature of love between a man and a wife. Notice the terms suggesting ownership. I went to my, I've a, my rose. Okay, so possession is presented here. And this reflects relationships in a sense. Once we're in a relationships, we see ourselves as owned, therefore to some extent trapped. Yet she turns away with jealousy. Now this is ironic. Because she is jealous, it means that she loves the man. You could be cynical and say that she just wants to make him suffer, but then she's trapped because she is loveless. So let's consider that she loves him, and that's why she is jealous. Because the thorns are only delight, show that he finds her enticing also. So there is complicity within this love. They love each other. Overall though, what we have in this relationship is not an innocent love in its purest form, but a love tainted by experience. And this is why it's in the Songs of Experience, because it is suggesting that love can be possessive. So what's the big idea? What's Blake showing? Maybe showing that something as beautiful as love can become corrupted, possessive, and therefore a means of entrapment. This is not the pure love in innocence. This is a love tainted by experience. It is not pure, but possessive. So how does he do this? Well, he does it through the symbols of the plants used. Okay, so the flower and of the rose. He does it through the naming. I've a pretty rose tree. The rose tree is named, whereas the flower is not, the lack of naming. He does it through the language that implies possession. I've a, my. Okay, so have a look at the worksheet that I've given you. Have a look at what it is that I want you to do for this poem. That is a fairly standard reading of the poem, and complex in parts, simple in others.